New standard, new format, but has anything really changed? Let's find out. What is up, everyone? Aeneas here. We have a new set out. Phyrexia all will be one. We got a bunch of new cards, very sweet cards, lots of cool synergies with artifacts and oil and proliferate and toxic and all that kind of stuff. If you haven't tried it out, definitely check it out. It's very fun. I've been jamming a bunch of limited, draft, and sealed just to build up my collection, and finally getting to dabble into the standard ladder a bit. If you've seen my channel in the last few videos, you saw some of the decks I was trying out. Still have a lot more I want to try out, and hopefully we'll do well. But it's Monday, so let's take a look at the meta and what's been working for people. What are some cool brews people have been trying out, and see if there's any tournament results or things like that that you know, or show us kind of an indication of where standard might be headed in the future. But yeah, let's take a look. All right, so first off, we got standard best of one. This is from platinum to mythic, and we're looking at the play popularity today and the win rate for today. And fortunately, it looks like not a lot has really changed so far. We see, down here in the not so good win rates that Simic, Toxic, and Golgari fight. People have been trying those out, but they haven't quite broken the deck because they're still stuck in the sub 50% win rate on those guys. And the decks that are still doing well, surprise, surprise, are the honed aggro list from the last meta. People are trying new stuff out. These aggro lists are just going to prey on that and take advantage of that and just get free wins almost because people's decks aren't as finely tuned. So that's somewhat to be expected, but it is still sad to see that something new hasn't kind of taken over that. But the format is still young. We don't know everything yet. We're still trying stuff out, so don't worry yet. If we're in the same situation in like 6 weeks, then we might need to be worried because it's clear that the cards were not good enough to improve the standard. But I don't think that's the case. The cards seem very strong, and I think we'll see some shakeups soon. All right, but yeah, so that's it for best of one, the current meta. But let's look at the actual tier list and the win rates and stuff so far in this first week that the set's been out. Soldiers still doing well. Azorius won and mono white won, and then also a mono white deck that's not themed around soldiers also still very good. Esper Legends, that was another deck that was very strong, maybe one of the strongest mid-range decks. So that one's still doing good, and probably got a few new inclusions in that one. If we want to take a look, we can check that out in a second. But mono red burn also still very strong, and surprisingly, I don't see them play a lot of new cards whenever I fight against them, but I think there's a couple good red cards in the set that would fit very nicely in that deck. Though I am not a mono red player and I don't intend to play mono red. If you are a mono red player, then yeah, I think there's definitely a few upgrades you could make from the new set. All right, mono black also strong. I know it got a lot of upgraded as well. But I think people are still kind of just stuck in the old decks. They haven't really experimented with the new cards. So we'll see if that changes in the next couple weeks. And then Gruul Aggro, doing very respectable. Thundering Raiju and Beast Caller were already very strong, but now we got finally a 1-drop Evolving Adaptive. And we got things like this Bloated Contaminator, which are also very good. So yeah, just kind of taking all the good green cards, mixing it with the mono red deck, and it's successful. What a surprise. So that is that's a new one, one of the new ones. Besides that though, not a lot has changed. And yeah, you can see down here the toxic deck is sitting at 54% win rate, 55 I guess if you round up. So it's doing okay, but it's not the top of the format right now. At least not yet. I think it could probably be honed a little bit more, but as I heard Crokies talk about recently, it's kind of hard to improve this deck because it is all based around this one card. So if you don't draw this card, then it kind of makes the deck much worse. But Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if people can figure out the right build for it. Maybe that will bump it up a little bit. But I'm waiting for the control and the mid range to do it better. I don't. Kind of disappointed that nobody's trying out those things, but maybe it just takes too much effort to build those decks. So maybe I'll have to be the one to break the format with some control deck mono. Sorry, not mono. Blue white or Demir or something like that. But we'll see. Yeah, I think the rest is not that interesting. 5-color control. I saw Ali Eldrazi play this a little bit with the reanimation kind of stuff. I made a deck about this as well. I think there's definitely a shell here, and we'll see later on that people have found success with it, but it definitely is interesting that it's not doing super well on the ladder. Okay, well that's it for best of one. So not a lot changing. We see Gruul doing well, and we'll see that this mono white deck has a lot of new cards. Mono black got a bunch of new cards. But other than that, not a lot changing in the best of one ladder so far. So far. Yeah, hold on. I'm sure people will keep trying new things out, so don't worry yet. All right, if we go to the... Oh, yeah, this was the Esper Legends deck. I wanted to see if there was anything new in here, but doesn't really look like it. All old cards, so yeah, nothing new in that one, unfortunately. All right, best of three. We got mono white mid range at the top spot with 62.5% win rate. That's pretty good, especially for mono. Sorry, for best of three. And I know this card got a lot of improvements, like new Planeswalker with the Wandering Emperor. It got the Vindicator card. It got a few other really good ones I remember seeing. We'll see some deck lists later about that, but yeah, this deck is strong. Rakdos still strong. I think not much changed here. Maybe they got a few removal spells, but still doing well on the best of three ladder, it looks like. And yeah, same thing, mono black. And of course, soldiers still good. Esper Legends still good, etc. And I guess this one is new, it looks like. Mardu tokens. This is probably based around the Dominus card, the white Dominus card that makes your tokens double. So maybe something like that. Other than that, not a whole lot of new stuff. John trying out, but not a super great win percentage in best of three. It's acceptable, but not super great. So John is not quite making the cut there, fortunately. All right. Well, that's it for best of one and best of three standard. Let's go ahead and look at some of the tournament results. There was a very big tournament in Japan recently, put on by a streamer and some well-known Magic pros here in Japan. And surprisingly, Mono White mid-range took down the tournament, both first and second place. And they are trying a few of the new cards out. We see that there's Lauren. That's not really new. I thought this one had, yeah, there we go. Ossification, the new removal spell in white. And do they have any new sideboard cards? The Eternal Wanderer right there. I guess that's about it. So yeah, only a couple new cards, removal and planeswalkers. And I think the second deck was also the same. Eternal Wanderer there in the main board. And actually, yeah, I guess a different sideboard altogether, but they also have Ossification here in one of the enchantments. So that deck was already pretty good before and actually winning quite a few tournaments. And now with these additional cards, it seems like it's stronger than ever. I mean, Ossification is a very good removals card, especially in a monocolored deck. So that's pretty sweet for them. I don't think there's much different in these guys. I guess this one has Vraska. That's kind of cool. That's per mid-range. Eternal Wanderer. Okay, so we're seeing a lot of play from the Eternal Wanderer. This one is actually kind of interesting because it's Esper, but it's not the Esper with all the creatures. It seems to have a lot of planeswalkers. So this could be a cool one to try out. Definitely. And then fifth place was Golgari. Okay. Obliterator, Evolve Sleeper, Underdog. So I guess this is kind of like the Golgari fight deck that we saw a little bit on the ladder, but it did very poorly on the ladder, but I guess somebody made it work in their tournament here, so more power to them. Pretty cool. All right, besides this, there weren't any other tournaments, but there was the standard challenge online. And looking at the results, it's Reanimator deck, surprisingly. We got Portal to Phyrexia, we got Sanctuary Warden, we got Atraxa. That's Atraxa, you know, what we talked about. Big score to discard your big card. Fable of the Mirror Breaker to discard your big card. I guess also Ganjo does the same thing. So lots of things help you discard and then invoke Justice to bring it back. So this was the first place winner, even though it's the second place. Ignore that right there. And then the actual second place was this one, Azorius Aggro. Third place was this mono white mid range that we just saw basically with the ossification, and Eternal Wanderer as well. And finally, the fourth place winner is another Reanimator deck. So yeah, the Reanimator seems like it might be a real thing. I think this is the first time we saw Reanimator taking down tournaments. We saw it do pretty well in some tournaments, and we saw it do pretty well on the ladder before, but I don't remember it ever getting first or second place in a tournament. So the fact that it's at two decks in the top 4 is pretty interesting. So yeah, there might be really something there with the Atraxa reanimation style decks. Okay, now time for the moment you've all been waiting for, I'm sure. The spicy Twitter brews, things I've collected throughout the week of the new set and people are trying out. So first of all, actually this is kind of more of the same mono white deck with Eternal Wanderer and the Phyrexian Vindicator. But I think based on the list we saw, it seems like Vindicator is not as necessary. But yeah, anyway, this is another list the person was having good success with. And we got Danny T. Law, fan favorite out here, trying out some new stuff. He tried out the Simic deck, Simic ramp deck, and had pretty good success, 7 and 4. That's respectable, you know, that's like 65% win rate. So yeah, this could be a deck with some tweaking. I'm sure it could be even better. So pretty cool. And you take extra turns, it looks like. That's always fun. So yeah, interesting deck and definitely something to try out. We got Ali Eldrazi out here working on the Mind Splice apparatus. He's got, I think he has a few versions now with Is It and now Jeskai. So yeah, that's a thing. Taking extra turns as well with the Gambit and the Mind Splice apparatus. Lots of taking turns going on. It seems like that's maybe an effect that Wizards should think about not reprinting, since always seems to be good. But anyway, I digress. All right, and then this one from Schlop. He's been doing well with this one. This is kind of similar to the one that I played on my channel with the Tezzeret artifact style deck, but he ends up going for very big artifacts with the Mightstone and the Cityscape Leveler at the top end. So it's kind of a cool version, and I've never seen anybody use Balaji Archaeologist, so kind of an interesting include. Maybe it's worth. But yeah, cool to see that it's working out for this person. And this one, someone got pretty high on the Mythic ladder with this Mardu deck. So I think this is maybe what that Mardu's tokens list was like, with the Dominus, with the Crawling Chorus. You got the Riveter's Requisitioners to make you some treasure tokens, which you can double. Obnixilis, mix token, which you can double. Fable of the Mirror Breaker, next token. So yeah, basically that's the theme here, right? But yeah, pretty cool deck, pretty interesting. This is something we haven't seen before, so if this becomes stronger in meta, I wouldn't mind that too much. So we can only hope, right? Unless it gets too annoying, then we'll regret hoping that it becomes meta. But yeah, interesting, very cool, bro. All right, and the last one that we have for this week. This is a historic deck, but somebody made the Rot Priest work in historic, and they got off some good win, like a big win run. And basically, they just took the green white auras list and they added Rot Priest and added a few other things and had a lot of success with it, because pretty much everything in that deck targets your creatures, so they're gonna get poisoned pretty quickly. can't say it's better than just the normal green white auras list, to be honest, because that deck already wins very quickly as well. But maybe the fact that you generate the extra win condition with the poison is kind of like a failsafe against control decks, but not sure. Still, pretty cool. Glad they made it work out and glad to see some innovation. So, all right, I think that's about it for what's been going on so far. So, not a lot has changed. That's kind of sad to see. But we're gonna keep trying. We're gonna break this format, definitely. I'm gonna get a control deck to work. I've been saying that. I gotta get a control deck to work. Tired of all these aggro formats, these aggro meta, so gonna figure out how to break the code here. All right, well, let me know in the comments if you're trying something new and interesting that's working for you on the ladder. I'd love to see it. And if you share deck lists with me as well, I'll check them out. And yeah, maybe I'll make a video about it. So share those in the comments and let me know what you think. And until next time, see ya.